Whoops, a daisy. Good evening and God bless all you kind, wonderful people. Still in the request queue, Julia. I have downloaded and printed the charts for your song. You don't have to say you love me, but I'm still working on it. And give me a couple of days to get it right because you have this knack of picking songs with the most complex chord patterns and progressions I've ever seen. But I think I can pull it off. But we got some ahead of you. We got my buddy Mike Riggins, who quite a while ago requested El Paso. And Mike, I guess tonight's like kissing your sister. I'm going to bring you a Marty Robbins tune, but not El Paso because I've got to give an introduction. I'm sorry. But tomorrow night we should have El Paso, and then we should move on to these others. I do have another request out there for Precious and Few working on it. So Julia, it may be a few days, but I'll get to you, Lord willing. 1967, I was a sophomore in high school, and I had a blind date. I went to Isaac Lit and had a blind date with a girl from Madison. And I don't know how to describe it. It was, well, I guess I can put it this way. You've heard of love at first sight? This blind date was loathe at first sight. As soon as she answered the door, we knew we hated each other's guts. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm there. We got to go through the motions of having a date, so we went out to dinner or something and brought her back the evening into earlier than I had intended. And I was about as glad to get her in her house as she was to get out of my car, I'm sure. But, you know, back before cell phones, you couldn't just ring up the buds and find them. So I went around and cruised Shoney's for a while and looked all over, couldn't find anybody. And found myself downtown Nashville, just driving around, my dad's car, of course, and was going up Fifth Avenue. And in those days, the Ryman Auditorium's only entrances were on Fifth Avenue, 3 sets of double doors. This brand new fancy entrance they got on 4th has been added and created. And I was noticing people going in and out, and I was perplexed. And here I was, raised up in Nashville, never been to the Grand Ole Opry, and so I just parked my car and decided I'd walk on up and see what's going on. And I walked in those, the furthest set of double doors to the left as you looked at the building, and those particular doors only went one place. They went straight up to the balcony called the Confederate Gallery. So I walked in expecting to be stopped at any moment, but I wasn't. What I learned later is during the second show of Saturday night, they had one at 6:30 and one at 9:30. About halfway through the second show, they quit taking tickets, and folks can just walk in and out. So I wasn't stopped. So I'm standing up at the back of the balcony. I don't have a program, don't have anything. I don't know what's going on, but the big scarlet curtains are closed, and it's in a commercial. Of course, you know, it's a live radio show, the Grand Ole Opry. And as the commercial winds down, must be at least 50, maybe more women rush the stage and get right in front. Every one of them had one of those little Instamatic cameras. You remember the ones with the cubes on top? The cube on top. And they're sitting there poised for something. I don't know what's going on. Well, if you've been to the Grand Ole Opry, you know that it's divided up into segments, and each segment's hosted by a star who's more famous, more well-known, more successful, and then he or she brings on guest artist as guest of their segment. Well, it goes back to the announcer, and he announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, hosting our last show tonight of the Grand Ole Opry is Marty Robbins." And those scarlet curtains go back, and those flash bulbs start flashing, and he's got that flashy smile in this sequined outfit, and I'm mesmerized. And then when he opens his mouth and starts singing, I'm really mesmerized. I went, wow. And what I learned later, of course, is that Marty always hosted the 11:30 show. at the Opry. One reason he started doing it is because he drove race cars, and he would race at the Nashville Fairgrounds and then on Saturday night and then go to the Opry. But it became a kind of an institution, him hosting that last session. It's supposed to end at midnight. He would always go over. And they had this shtick going on between him and the radio announcer who's up there on stage. The announcer's looking at his watch, and Marty's going like this, and the crowd's wanting more, and it's just incredible. I rushed home, woke up my baby brother David, told him about this incredible experience. And the next Saturday night, he went with me. And the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, and so on. The ushers got to know us by name. And one night, one of the ushers said, "Johnny, you know Marty and his backup singers go out to Lums after the show, don't you?" I said, "No." Looked at my brother David. I said, "We going to Lums." Lums was a chain that existed back then, famous for their beer-boiled hot dogs. Well, we get to Lums out there on 21st Avenue in Nashville, and Marty and his guys, sure enough, they're sitting over in the far corner, way back in the back. My brother and I sit at the table closest to the front in the other corner. But the next week, we move one table closer. And the next week, one table closer, and so forth and so on until we're just one table away after several weeks. This had not gone unnoticed on Marty. And being the gentleman and down-to-earth, wonderful guy he was, he said, "You boys want to come over here and sit with us?" And we said, "Yes, sir." And so for the next many Saturday nights, we had a late hot dog dinner with Marty Robbins. And I became a fan, bought a guitar, bought all his albums, got a stereo. I'd go to sleep at night with earphones on my head trying to emulate every sound, every nuance of his voice. Of course, I couldn't, but I tried. So tonight, Mike, to get ready for El Paso, which I have to give a little introduction to it tomorrow night, I want to do the song that Marty was singing that very first night that I saw him for the very first time in my life as a 16-year-old. And it was a number one hit of his, not like El Paso, but it was a number one. And it's got an interesting little part in it where Marty breaks into a falsetto. And there's very few people in the entire world who can emulate him on that. I just happen to be one of them, but we'll see. I told Mary about us. I told her about our great sin. Mary cried and forgave me, and Mary took me back again. She said if I wanted my freedom, I could be free evermore. But I don't want to be, and I don't want to see Mary cry anymore. Oh, devil woman, let go of me. Devil woman, let me be, and leave me alone. I'm going back home. Well, Mary is waiting and weeping. She's down in her shack by the sea. Even after I'd hurt her, Mary's still in love with me. Devil woman, it's over. I'm trapped no more by your charm. 'Cause I don't want to stay, I want to get away. Woman, let go of my arm. Oh, devil woman, let go of me. Devil woman, let me be, and leave me alone. I want to go home. Devil woman, you're evil. You're like the dark coral reef, like the winds that bring high tide. You bring sorrow and grief. You made me ashamed to face Mary. I barely had the strength to tell. The skies are not so bad. Mary took me back, Mary has broken your spell. Oh, devil woman, let go of me. Devil woman, let me be, and leave me alone. I want to go home. Well, I'm running along by the seashore. I'm a-running as fast as I can. Even the seagulls are happy, glad I'm coming home again. Never again will I ever cause another tear to fall, 'cause down the beach I see what belongs to me, the one I want most of all. Oh, devil woman, don't follow me. Devil woman, let me be and leave me alone. I'm going back home. See you later. Tomorrow night, Mike.